1 second, everyone. Let's get some sound on here, in here. Hey, good morning, Panda Cat.
For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org.
Yeah, I seem a little out of it. My bad, everyone. I went to the store this morning to get me a drink, and the store's about a 10-15 minute walk both ways. Well, yeah, about just to get to the store is about a 10-15 minute walk, and to get back is about a 10-15 minute walk.
For the straightforward pathway had been lost. Ah me, how hard a thing it is to say, what was this forest, savage, rough, and stern, which in the very thought renews the fear.
Cleaned it up a little
So
bit.
bitter is it, death is little more. But of the good to treat, which there I found, speak will I of the other things I saw there. I cannot well repeat how there I entered. So
Yeah, it's a mission. Well, cause I'm house sitting for my aunt and mom, cause my aunt's in the hospital,
at that point where the valley
and she has her vehicle here. Said I could use it. It's just that well, the only problem with that is I don't have a license, and I don't know how to drive, so I don't think that'd be too good of an idea.
That in my heart's lake had endured throughout the night which I had
Well, that's what I'm gonna show you, Panda Cat. My shirt.
And even as he who, with distressful breath, forth issued from the sea upon the shore, turns to the water perilous and gazes.
Hey, the goddess, how you doing?
That still was fleeing onward.
Hey, J420.
Back to re-behold the pass, which never yet a living person left.
Yeah, I ordered it for my cousin. It's just that the place I ordered it from sent the wrong size, so it's too small for my cousin.
And lo, almost where the ascent
so I got to get it.
Panther, light and swift
hey, green.
Which
Excuse me.
Skin was
hey, green ghost.
And never moved she from before my face. Nay, rather did her
Give me 1 second.
My way, but many times I to return had turned. The time was the beginning of the morning, and up the sun was mounting with those stars, that with him were, what time the love divine, at first in motion set those beauteous things. so were to me occasion of good hope, the variegated skin of that wild beast, the hour of time, and the delicious.
And I have actually I didn't bring it with me, but I actually have you know how they have them the black raw bandanas. I actually got one that's it's a red raw bandana.
The air was afraid of him, and a she-wolf that with all hungerings seemed to be laden in her meagreness, and many folk has caused to live forlorn. She brought upon me so much heaviness, with the affright that from her aspect came, that I the hope relinquished of the height. And as he is who willingly acquires, and the time comes that causes him to lose, who weeps in all his thoughts and is despondent, e'en such made me that beast withouten peace, which, coming on against me by degrees, thrust me back thither where the sun is silent. While I was rushing downward to the lowland, before mine eyes did one present himself, who seemed from long continued silence hoarse. When I beheld him in the desert vast, have pity on me, which ere thou art shade or real man. He answered me, not man, man once I was, and both my parents were of Lombardy, and Mantuans by country both of them.
Let's see what the temperature is out there. Oh, it's a cold day.
And lived at Rome.
It's only 77 out there today.
During the time of false and lying.
Definitely felt. Oh, it definitely felt warmer yesterday when I did that. I had to do that walk again.
Son of Anchises, who came forth from Troy. After that, Ilion the Superb was burned. But thou
definitely does a number on my back though.
Such annoyance. Why climbst thou not the Mount Delectable, which is the source and cause of every joy? Now, art thou that Virgilus, and that fountain which spreads abroad so wide a river of speech? I made response to him, with bashful forehead. Oh,
sticks
of the other poets, honour and light, avail me the long study and great love that have impelled me to explore thy volume. Thou art my master, and my author thou. Thou art alone the one from whom I took the beautiful style that has done honour to me. Behold the beast, for which I have turned back.
Life.
Do thou protect me from her, famous sage, for she doth make my veins and pulses tremble. Thee it behooves to take another road.
It's not going too bad. It's still early. It's only
From this savage place thou wouldst escape, because this beast, at which thou
it's only 9:15 here.
Suffers not anyone to pass her way, but so doth harass him that she destroys him, and has a nature so malign and ruthless, that never doth she glut her greedy will, and after food is hungrier than before. Many the animals with whom she weds, and more they shall be still.
How's your day going, Green Ghost?
Comes, who shall make her perish in her pain. He shall not feed on either earth or pelf, but upon wisdom, and on love and virtue. Twixt Feltro and Feltro shall his nation be. Of that low Italy shall he be the saviour.
I might try. I heard that this is pretty good, but I haven't tried it. But my mom and aunt have a couple jars of it.
Through every city shall he hunt her down, till he shall have driven her back to hell, there from whence envy first did let her loose. Therefore I think, and judge it for thy best, thou follow me, and I will be thy guide, and lead thee hence through the eternal place, where thou shalt.
Well, I heard it's supposed to be pretty good.
Shall see the ancient spirits disconsolate, who cry out each one for the second death. And thou shalt see those who contented are within the fire, because they hope to come, whene'er it may be, to the blessed people. To whom, then, if thou wishest to ascend, a soul shall be for that, the nigh more worthy. With her at my departure I will leave thee, because that emperor who reigns above, in that I was rebellious to his law, wills that through me none come into his city. He governs everywhere, and there he reigns. There is his city and his lofty throne. Oh, happy he whom thereto he elects.
Oh,
I
shit.
answer him, Poet, I thee entreat, by that same God whom thou didst never know, that I may escape this woe and worse. Thou wouldst conduct me
Damn,
there,
up all week
where thou
trimming,
hast
huh?
said, that I may see the portal of St. Peter, and those thou makest so disconsolate. Then he moved on, and I behind him followed.
Right, I haven't had nothing like the apple butter, but I was told that's supposed to be pretty good. Just throw like on some,
Day was departing,
make some toast and throw some on there, or
released the animals that are
like
on earth
throw
from
some
their
on some
peace,
crackers or whatnot.
and I, the only one, made myself ready to sustain the war, both of the way.
I don't know. I
and
guess I'm
likewise
weird like
of the
that
woe,
because I'll throw
which
like
memory
peanut
that
butter
errs
and jelly
not
on like
shall
little crackers,
trace.
like Ritz
O
crackers or
Muses,
like regular
O
saltine
high
crackers,
genius,
and just
now assist
snack
me.
on those.
O memory, that didst write down what I saw, here thy nobility shall
Oh
be
shit,
manifest.
climbing trees and
And
chainsaw,
I
huh?
began,
Damn,
Poet, who guidest me, regard
that's
my
some dangerous
manhood,
shit, Green
if
Ghost.
it be sufficient, ere to the arduous pass thou dost confide me. Thou sayest
Yesterday,
that of Silvius the parent, while yet corruptible,
that's probably why I
unto the
felt like it
ground
was a lot harder when I
and
was
was
doing
there
it today
bodily.
too, because
But if the adversary,
yesterday we had pretty good little
scarce
downpour and flooded
thinking of the high effect that issue would from him,
what was it, the yard and some of the
and what?
roads, but
to men of intellect unmeet
and
it seems
if I remember
not,
right, I think we're still under a
He was
flash
a
flood
great
warning right now.
and of her empire, in the imperial heaven as father chose them,
Yeah, they don't have like
the which
drainage or
and
anything like that, and
wishing to speak the truth,
down here in this town. So when it
wherein
rains,
sits the successor of the greatest
we
Peter.
flood pretty good.
Upon this journey,
Oh
whence
shit!
thou givest
Back
him
to school
voice,
tomorrow, huh?
things did he hear, which the occasion were, both of his victory and the papal mantle. Thither went afterwards the chosen vessel, to bring back comfort thence unto that faith, which of salvation's way is the beginning.
If we're gonna have a
I,
nice good couple
why
cups
thither
of coffee.
come, or who concedes it? I not Eni, Sam, I am not Paul, nor I, nor others think
I
me
definitely
worthy
like
of it.
the coffee pot my mom and I have here, because you can either
I fear the coming
one
great
side you
yield
can
of
make it
light.
by the pot,
Thou art wise,
and the other
and
side
knowest
you
better
can have
than
it's set up to where
and
you
as
can just
he
do the
is,
singles.
who unwills what he willed, and
Right.
by new thoughts
Put a little shot, that
intention
little
change,
thing in there, and
so
make a
that
cup of
from his
coffee.
design he quite withdraws. Such I became on that dark hillside.
It's pretty cool because it's made
I
like one whole machine instead of having the one for like the single cup separate and then your regular coffee pots all in one.
Replied that shade of the magnanimous. Thy soul attainted is with cowardice, which many times a man encumbers so, it turns him back from
Yeah, I've definitely been a wild winter.
doth the beast when he is shy. Thou mayest free thee from this
I'm a little excited for how the winter's gonna be. But for us, our winters are typically, I think the coldest it get here, or usually we do get snow once in a while. But usually we get down to like at nights, like during the winter, sometimes, not all the time, we'll get down to about like 30, 40 at night. But usually our days during the winter are like about 70 to 80, sometimes the low 60s.
And shall endure, long lasting as the world. A friend of mine, and
I'd rather have the snow. I like the snow and the cold weather. It's just that with as much damage as I've been through with the injuries, breaking bones, having metal plates put in my arm, and all that, when the cold weather hits, that shit, I definitely feel that shit in my body. It hurts a lot, but I like the snow and cold weather. I mean, I might just because I'm used to this whole desert type climate.
Then paused she, and thereafter I began.
Right. Although one year we did get
Thou alone through whom
a whole lot of snow. It started snowing
contained within the heaven
one day,
as the
coming down real heavy, and it
So
snowed like
grateful
that for
unto me is thy commandment,
I think it was like
to
3 or
obey
4
it were
days,
already done when
maybe
not.
longer, and
No
yeah,
further needst thou ope to me
people
thy
couldn't leave their
heart.
houses.
But the cause, tell me why thou dost
There are
not
certain
shun
businesses
here
that the
descending down into this
the
centre,
ceilings
from
collapsed
the
in
vast place thou burnest
because
to
of all the
return
weight
to.
of the snow on top of it. Because
Since thou
most of the
knowest
buildings
things
and
inwardly discern,
some houses around here really ain't
she answered,
built to
why I am not
withstand
come to
like
enter here.
snow like that.
Of those things only shall
And
I
we actually got
which have the power of doing others
excuse me.
harm,
we actually got put in a state of emergency.
because they are not fearful. God in his mercy such created me, that misery
So that was
abroad
crazy.
detains me not,
But
nor
yeah, I
any
definitely do
plague
feel it.
assails me of this burning.
It sucks, but what's fucked up about it is it sucks, but I like the cold weather and the
Grieves
snow.
this impediment to which I send thee, so that stern judgment there above is broken. In her entreaty she besought Lucia, and said,
But I got
Faithful
stuff
one now stands in need,
at the house
and
that
unto thee I recommend him.
I could put on and wear and
Lucia,
be
from
nice and
all
comfortable
but
even in like a
forbearance,
Michigan winter.
hastened away, and came unto the place where I was sitting with the ancient Rachel. Beatrice,
Just never get a chance to wear them down here.
the true praise of God. Why succourest thou not him who loved thee so? For thee he issued from the vulgar herd. Dost thou not hear the pity of his fate? Dost thou not see the death that combats him, beside that flood where ocean has no vaunt?
How's everyone's weekend been so far?
Worlds so swift, to work their wheel and to escape their woe, as I, after such words as these were uttered, came hither downward from my blessed seat, confiding in thy dignified discourse, which honours thee, and those who've listened to it. After she thus had spoken unto me, weeping her shining eyes she turned away, whereby she made me swifter in my coming. And unto thee I came, as she desired.
Alright, definitely like the way it looks when it snows.
Which bars beautiful mountains sure to scent. What is it then? Why dost thou delay? Why is such baseness bedded in thy heart? Daring and hardihood why hast thou not? Seeing that 3 such ladies benedight are caring for thee in the court of heaven, and so much good my speech doth promise thee, even as the flowerets, by nocturnal chill, bowed down and closed, when the sun whitens them, uplift themselves all open on their stems. Such I became with my exhausted strength, and such good courage to my heart there caused, that I began, like an intrepid person. Oh, she compassionate who succoured me, and courteous thou, who hast obeyed so soon the words of truth which she addressed to thee. Thou hast my heart so with desire disposed to the adventure with these words of thine, that to my first intent I have returned. Now go, for one sole will is in us both, thou leader, and thou lord, and master thou. Thus said I to him, and when he had moved, I entered on the deep and savage way. End of Canto 2. Inferno, Canto 3.
He's a lowrider, huh?
Through me the way is to the city dolent. Through me the way is to eternal dole. Through me the way among the people lost. Justice
I'm not sure how mine will react to snow,
created me divine
because we really haven't had
the highest wisdom, and the
any
primal
snow
life.
since I've gotten him, so.
Before me there were no creators.
But again, he's
only eternal, and I eternal.
He's kind of tall and lanky, so he should be good.
These words in somber colour I beheld written.
My brother's dog, Damien, that's not a story. He's a little
their sense is
Chihuahua Shih Tzu.
hard to me, and he to me as one experienced. Here all suspicion needs must be abandoned, all cowardice must needs be here extinct. We to the place have come, where I have told thee, thou shalt behold the people dolorous, who have forgone the good of intellect. And after he had laid his hand on mine, with joyful mien, whence I was comforted, he led me in among the secret things. There, sighs, complaints, and ululations loud resounded through the air without a star, whence I, at the beginning, wept thereat. Languages diverse, horrible
1 second,
dialects,
everyone.
accents of anger, words of agony, and voices high and hoarse, with sound of hands, made up a tumult that goes whirling on, forever in that air, forever black, even as the sand doth when the whirlwind breathes. And I, who had my head with horror bound, said, Master, what is this which now I hear? What folk is this, which
This
seems
is my
my pains so
aunt's dog.
vanquished? And he to me, this miserable mode maintain the melancholy souls of those who lived without an infamy or praise.
Pretty much not much today. I'm still watching the house.
Angels who have
Whoa,
not
careful
rebellious
now.
been, nor
Careful.
faithful were to God, but were
Okay.
herself. The heavens expelled them, not to be less fair, nor them the nethermore abyss receives. For glory
I forgot her mouse and headphones, huh? Oh shit.
And I, O Master,
Most I gotta do
what so
today
grievous
is
to these, that maketh
I gotta
them
feed the
lament so
chickens
sore?
again and
He answered,
collect eggs
I will
again.
tell thee very briefly. These have no longer any hope of death, and this blind life of theirs is so debased, they envious are of every other fate. No fame of them the world permits to be, misericord and justice both disdain them. Let us not speak of them, but look and pass. And I, who looked again, beheld a banner, which whirling round, ran on so rapidly, that of all pause it seemed to me indignant. And after it there came so long a train of people, that I ne'er would have believed that ever death so many had undone. When some among them I had recognized, I looked, and I beheld the shade of him who made through cowardice the great refusal. Forthwith I comprehended, and was certain that this the sect was of the caitiff wretches, hateful to God and to his enemies. These Americans, who never were alive, were naked, and were stung exceedingly by gadflies and by hornets.
That's not, they're not too bad.
These did their faces irrigate with blood,
Definitely have
with their tears commingled. At their feet, by the disgusting
they put out,
was gathered up.
cause let's see,
And went gazing farther,
I think all my mom and aunt have is
I saw, on a great river's
like
bank.
9 or so
Whence,
chickens,
said I,
and they put out, when I check
now
them a day,
vouchsafe to me, that I
so
may
I check
know
them
who
around
these
the
are,
evening,
and what law makes them appear so ready to
and
pass
they
over,
put out about
as I
almost a
discern
dozen eggs a
athwart
day.
the dusky light. And he to me, these things
So I'll
shall
feed
all
them
be known
about
to thee as soon as we
noonish.
our footsteps stay upon the dismal shore of Acheron. Then, with mine eyes ashamed and downward cast, fearing my words might
Yeah,
irk
chickens are fun,
him,
but chickens are
speech
cannibals
refrained
too.
I till we reached the river.
And one of them happens to die in the pen.
Towards us coming in a boat,
The other chickens will actually sit there and like
hoary with the hair
eat
of
the other
elves,
chicken.
crying, Woe unto ye, ye souls depraved! Hope never more to look upon the heavens. I come to lead you to the other shore, to the eternal shades in heat and frost. That yonder stands living soul, with the warmth from these people who are dead. But when he saw that I did not withdraw, he said, By other ways, by other ports, thou to the shore shalt
I
come,
had
not here for passage.
several cousins, and I think some uncles back in the day that and friends that actually used to
It is so willed where there
Good
is
fertilizer.
power to do
They used to actually
that which is willed,
fight
and
roosters
farther
when
question
it was
not.
still legal down here.
Thereat were
Because
quieted
fighting
this
roosters
cheese
actually stayed
of
legal
him, ferryman
down
of
here
livid fen,
for a minute.
round
They
his
didn't
eyes
really
were
make it
wheels of
illegal
flame.
till I think it's been like maybe 10 years.
Weary were, and naked, their colour changed, and gnashed their teeth together, as soon as they had heard those
No
cruel
shit, they eat
words.
frogs, huh? I
God
did not know that.
blasphemed, and their progenitors, the human race, the place, the time, the seed of their engendering and of their birth. Thereafter, altogether they drew back, bitterly weeping, to the accursed shore, which waiteth every man.
But it's crazy on
that
when
fears
they
not God.
do that with the roosters.
Charon,
They
the
put
demon,
big old like
whose eyes
long
gleam,
curved blades on them.
beckoning to them, collects them all together.
They pretty much, because how they naturally have that little spur, the roosters, they'll just, it's made to fit over the top of it
First one, and then another,
and strap around
to
its
the branch, unto the earth,
leg.
swings all
That
its
way when they
spirits.
come and fight each other
Similar
like that,
birds,
they
the
have that
evil
hook
seed of
blade
Adam,
where they're just fucking
throw themselves from that margin,
shredding each
one
other
by
apart.
one, at signals, as a bird unto its lure. So they depart, across the dusky way, and ere upon the other side they land, again on this side a new troop assembles.
Because I've never been to one.
The courteous
I've seen the
man
blades
said
they
to me,
put on. I've seen them like
all those who perish
footage
in the
of
wrath
it,
God, here meet together
like
out of
that you
every
find on the
land,
internet when they show them
and
fighting.
ready are they to pass o'er the river,
Oh shit,
because
your neighbor
celestial
showed you
justice
the
spurs
frog
them
deal,
on,
huh?
so that their fear is turned into desire. This way there never passes a good soul. And hence, if Charon doth complain of thee, well mayest thou know now what his speech imports. This being finished, all the dusk's champagne trembles so
Maybe that's why we,
violently
with the rain
that
will
of that
begin, why
terror
we haven't
the
seen too many
recollection
frogs in the
makes
yard.
me still with
They haven't made it
sight.
past the pen.
The land of tears go forth a blast of wind, and fulminated of a million light, which overmastered me in every sense. And as a man whom sleep hath seized, I fell. End of Canto 3. Inferno, Canto 4. Broke the deep
Because what is
lethargy
it?
within my
And
head,
the ones that my mom's
and
got,
heavy
it's all
thunder,
chickens. There's no
so that
roosters
I
in it.
upstarted, like to a
The
person
neighbor
whom force is waiting,
has some chickens too,
and
but
round about I
he actually
moved
has
my
a couple
rested
roosters
eyes,
over there too.
uprisen erect, and steadfastly I gazed, to recognize the place wherein I was.
Hear them fucking things all throughout the fucking day and night sometimes.
Of the abysmal valley dolorous, that gathers thunder of infinite ululations. Obscure, profound it was, and nebulous, so that by fixing on its
The
depths
gray ones,
my sight, nothing whatever
I don't think I've been around the gray ones. Because I know the ones my mom and I have, or there's some white ones and there's some of the spotted ones they have.
And thou shalt second be.
I don't think I've seen the gray ones though.
Of his colour was aware, said, how shall I come, if thou art afraid, who art wont to be a comfort to my fears? And he to me,
I know the ones they have, I believe it's 3 different kinds. Because we'll get the brown ones, like the brown eggs. Then we'll get some white ones. And then we'll also get some
and thus he made me enter the
like greenish colored ones, like the shell.
There, as it seemed to me,
No, they're way fast.
were lamentations none, but only sighs, that the tremble made the everlasting air. And this arose from sorrow, without torment, which the crowds had, that many were and great, of infants, and of women, and of men. To me the master good, thou dost not ask what spirits these, which thou beholdest are? Now will I have thee know, ere thou go farther, that they sinned not, and if they merit had, 'tis not enough, because they had not baptism, which is the portal of the faith thou holdest.
Oh shit.
And if they were before Christianity, in the right manner they adored not God.
I had to fight a few for holidays, huh?
I myself, such defects, and not lost are we, and are only so far punished that without hope.
I remember when I was in Michigan, whenever I went to go visit my friend up there,
Because some people
we actually saw some wild turkeys up there. I actually asked my friend, like,
Tell me, my
I
master,
was like, what the hell are those
tell me
things out
thou,
there?
my lord, began I.
And that's when he told me they're
Desire
turkeys,
being
but
certain
they didn't
that
look
faith
very,
which
at
overcometh every error.
least they didn't look
Did
like a
any
turkey.
one
They're
by
still
his
real
own
skinny.
vengeance, or by another's, who was
They
blessed thereafter?
hadn't fattened up just yet.
Who understood my covert speech, replied, I was a novice in this state, when I saw hither come a mighty one, with sign of victory incoronate. Hence he drew forth the shade of the first parent, and that of his son Abel,
Oh shit.
and of Noah, of Moses the lawgiver, and the obedient Abraham patriarch, and David
Give me
king,
1 second, everyone.
Israel with his father and his children, and Rachel, for whose sake he did so much, and others many, and he made them blessed. And thou must know that earlier than these never were any human spirits saved. We ceased not to advance, because he spake, but still were passing onward through the forest, say I, of thick crowded ghosts. Not very far, as yet our way had gone, this side the summit, when I saw a fire that overcame a hemisphere of darkness. We were a little distant from it still, but not so far that I in part discerned not that honourable people held that place. O thou, who honourest every art and science, who may these be, which such great honour have, that from the fashion of the rest it parts them? And he to me, the honourable name that sounds of them above there in thy life, wins grace in heaven that so advances them. In the meantime, a voice was heard by me. All honour be to the preeminent poet,
No
whose
shit.
shade returns again that was departed.
They're mean and loud, huh?
After the voice had ceased, and quiet was.
That'd be a good one to use for a guard dog, because
I saw approaching
how many people are expecting that go fuck around in your yard and all of a sudden they get
nor glad
attacked by a couple turkeys?
to say to me,
None of those things from, at least the wild ones I saw whenever I was in Michigan, there's like a group of them, like skinny, ugly looking things running around in little packs.
Poet sovereign. He who comes next is Horace, the satirist. The third is Ovid, and the last is Lucan. Because to each of these with me applies the name that solitary voice proclaimed, they do me honour, and in that do well. Thus I beheld assemble the fair school of that lord of the song preeminent, who o'er the others like an eagle soars. When they together had discoursed somewhat, they turned to me with signs of salutation, and on beholding this, my master smiled. And more of honour still, much more they did me, in that they made me one of their own band, so that the sixth was I, midst so much wit. Thus we went on, as far as to the light, things saying 'tis becoming to keep silent, as was the
Nice.
saying of them where I was.
Those Thai
We
chilis are
came
good.
to a noble castle,
There's
seven
these little
times
sliced
encompassed with
like
lofty walls,
pickles
defended round
that I
by
usually
fair
buy.
rivet.
They're hot pickles,
This we
but they're
passed
actually
over, even as firm ground.
they're so like extra hot because they have all kinds, like about
These sages,
I think like 5 or 6
came
fucking
into a meadow of
whole
fresh
Thai chilies in the fucking
people were there
jarred
with solemn
pickles.
eyes, and slow, of great authority in their countenance,
And the jars
and spake but seldom,
probably
with gentle
a
voices.
little bit bigger than this one.
Thus we withdrew ourselves upon one side, into an opening luminous and lofty, so that they, all of them, were visible. There opposite, upon the green enamel, were pointed out to me the mighty spirits, whom to have seen I feel myself exalted. I saw Electra, with companions many, mongst whom I knew both Hector and Aeneas, Caesar, in armour with gerfalcon eyes. I saw Camilla and Penthesilea on the other side, and saw the King Latinus, who with Lavinia his daughter sat. I saw that Brutus, who drove Tarquin forth, Lucretia, Julia, Marcia, and Cornelia, and saw alone, apart, the Saladin. When I had lifted up my brows a little, the master I beheld, of those who know, sit with his philosophic family. All gaze upon him, and all do him honour.
Oh damn, ghost peppers, huh?
Socrates and Plato, who nearer him before the others stand. Democritus, who puts the world on chance. Diogenes, Anaxagoras, and Thales, Zeno, Empedocles, and Heraclitus. Of qualities I saw the good collector, hight Dioscorides, and Orpheus saw I, Tully and Livy, and moral senator.
I know my aunt and mom have this friend of theirs that
and Avicenna,
they get all kinds of like
Averroes, who the great comment made.
Like pickled, they do a lot of different pickling.
Because so drives
and one of them they do is actually
that many times the word short of fact.
It's ghost peppered pickles, or pickle spears.
Another way my sapient
they do a lot of like actual pickles, but they use a lot of ghost peppers. Yeah,
and to a place
that shit's fucking hot. I remember they actually do a ghost pepper jelly. It was like a strawberry preserves, but it was made with ghost peppers in it.
That less space for
A peach ghost,
and
huh?
so much greater dole that
and
to wailing.
I made the mistake of not knowing that they got that type of like strawberry, like preserved, like jelly type stuff. So I decided to make me a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Put the peanut butter on one side, got that strawberry preserves, which is one of my favorite ones. So I put a good little amount on it. Made my sandwich. About a couple bites in, that heat starts to hit. I'm trying to figure out what the hell's going on, that I'm getting this type of heat from a sandwich. And I looked on there, and really small on the lid where it said strawberry preserve, it said ghost. And I didn't notice that, but yeah, apparently they get like strawberry jellies, like jellies and jams that are with ghost peppers.
Let not the portal's
Nice.
deceive thee. And unto him my guide, why criest thou too? Do not impede his journey fate ordained. It is so willed there.
I thought it was good because one of those jalapenos are usually good, like for breakfast with eggs, or
and now begin the dulcet notes to grow.
any other time of meal you make. They're usually good to have a nice jalapeno like that.
Strikes upon me. I came into a place mute of all light, which bellows as the sea does in a tempest, if by opposing winds 'tis combated. The infernal hurricane that never rests hurtles the spirits onwards in its repine, whirling them round, and smiting it molests them. When they arrive before the precipice, there are the shrieks, the plaints, and the laments. There they blaspheme the croissance divine. I understand that unto such a end the carnal malefactors who reason subjugates, and as the wings of starlings bear them on, in the cold season, in large band and full, so doth that blast the spirits maledict. It hither, thither, downward, upward, drives them. No hope doth comfort them for evermore, not of repose, but even of lesser pain. And as the cranes go, chanting forth their lays, making in air a long line of themselves, so saw I coming, uttering lamentations, shadows borne onward by the aforesaid stress. Whereupon said I, Master, who are those people whom the black air so castigates? The first of those, of whom intelligence thou fain wouldst have, then said he unto me, the empress was of many languages. To sensual vices she was so abandoned, that lustful she made licit in her law to remove the blame to which she had been led. She is Semiramis, of whom we read that she succeeded Ninus and was his spouse. She held the land which now the Sultan rules. The next is she who killed herself for love and broke faith with the ashes of Sichaeus. Then Cleopatra the voluptuous, Helen I saw, for whom so many ruthless seasons revolved, and saw the great Achilles, who at the last hour combated with love. Paris I saw, Tristan, and more than 1,000 shades did he name and point out with his finger, whom love had
Oh yeah,
separated from
Green
our
Ghost.
life. After that I had listened to my teacher, naming the dames of eld and cavaliers, pity prevailed, and I was nigh bewildered. And I began, O poet, willingly speak would I to those two, who go together, and seem upon the wind to be so light. And he to me, Thou'lt mark, when they shall be nearer to us,
Yeah.
and then do thou
That's not
implore
what I
them by
wanted,
love
but-
which leadeth them, and they will come. Soon as the wind in our direction sways them, my voice uplift I. O ye weary souls, come speak to us, if no one interdicts it. As turtle doves, called onward by desire, with open and steady wings to the sweet nest, fly through the air by their volition borne. So came they from the band where Dido is, approaching us athwart the air malign, so strong was the affectionate appeal. O living creature, gracious and benignant, who visiting goest through the purple air, us who have stained the world incarnadine. If were the King of the universe our friend, we would pray unto him to give thee peace, since thou hast pity on our woe perverse. Of what it pleases thee to hear and speak, that will we hear, and we will speak to you, while silent is the wind, as it is now. Sitteth the city wherein I was born, upon the seashore where the Po descends, to rest in peace with all his retinue. Love, that on gentle hearts doth swiftly seize to this man, for the person beautiful that was taken from me, and still the mode offends me. Love, that exempts no one beloved from loving, seized me with pleasure of this man so strongly, that, as thou seest, it doth not yet desert me. Love has conducted us unto one death, Cain awaiteth him who quenched our life. These words were borne along from them to us. As soon as I had heard those souls tormented, I bowed my face, and so long held it down until the poet said to me, What thinkest? When I made answer, I began. Alas, how many pleasant thoughts, how much desire, conducted these unto the dolorous pass. Then unto them I turned me, and I spake, and I began. Thine agonies, Francesca, sad and compassionate to weeping make me. But tell me, at the time of those sweet sighs, by what and in what manner love conceded, that you should know your dubious desires? And she to me, There is no greater sorrow than to be mindful of the happy time in misery, and that thy teacher knows. But, if to recognise the earliest root of love in us thou hast so great desire, I will do even as he who weeps and speaks. One day we reading were for our delight of Lancelot, how love did him enthrall. Alone we were, and without any fear. Full many a time our eyes together drew, that reading, and drove the colour from our faces. But one point only was it that o'ercame us, when as we read of the much longed for smile, being by such a noble lover kissed, this one, who ne'er from me shall be divided, kissed me upon the mouth all palpitating. Galeotto was the book, and he who wrote it. That day no farther did we read therein. And all the while one spirit uttered this, the other did weep, so that, for pity, I swooned away, as if I had been dying, and fell, even as a dead body falls. End of Inferno, Canto 1-5. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. This reading by Annie Coleman. www.anniecoleman.com. The Divine Comedy by Dante Alighieri. Translated by Henry Wadsworth Longfellow. Inferno. Canto 6-10. Inferno, Canto 6. At the return of consciousness that closed before the pity of those two relations which utterly with sadness had confused me, new torments I behold, and new tormented around me, whichsoever way I move, and whichsoever way I turn and gaze. In the third circle am I of the rain, eternal, malignant, and cold and heavy. Its law and quality are not new. Huge hail and water sombre-hued, and snow, athwart the tenebrous air, pour down amain. Noisome the earth is that receiveth this. Cerberus, monster cruel and uncouth, with his three gullets
Cream
like
for
a
that
dog,
one was
is
bad.
barking
That did not taste
over
good.
the people that are there submerged. Red eyes he has, an unctuous beard, and black, and belly large, and armed with claws his hands. He rends the spirits, flays and quarters them. Howl, the rain maketh them like unto dogs. One side they make a shelter for the other. Oft turn themselves, the wretched reprobates. When Cerberus perceived us, the great worm, his mouths he opened and displayed his tusks. Not a limb had he that was motionless. And my conductor, with his spans extended, took of the earth, and with his fists well filled, he threw it into those rapacious gullets, such as that dog is, who by barking craves, and quiet grows soon as his food he gnaws, for to devour it he but thinks and struggles. The like became those muzzles, filth begrimed of Cerberus, the demon, who so thunders over the souls that they would fain be deaf. We passed across the shadows, which subdues the heavy rainstorm, and we placed our feet upon their vanity, that person seems. They all were lying prone upon the earth, excepting one who sat upright as soon as he beheld us passing on before him. O thou that art conducted through this hell, he said to me, recall me if thou canst. Thyself wast made before I was unmade. And I to him, the anguish which thou hast perhaps doth draw thee out of my remembrance, so that it seems not I have ever seen thee. But tell me who thou art, that in so doleful a place art put, and in such punishment, if some are greater, none is so displeasing. And he to me, thy city, which is full of envy, so that now the sack runs over, held
Hey,
me within
Ozark,
it
how you
in
doing,
life
bro?
serene.
Thanks for
You
stopping by.
citizen were wont to call me Chiaco.
I've been saying
the
be getting
pernicious
down on
sin
that
of
Madden.
felony. I, as thou seest, am battered by this rain. And I, sad soul, am not the only one, for all these suffer the like penalty for the like sin. And word no more spake he. I answered him, Chiaco, thy wretchedness weighs on me, so that it to weep invites me.
You're
But tell me,
addicted.
if thou knowest,
Yeah, it's good to see you
what
too,
shall
bro.
come the citizens of the divided city, if any there be just, and the occasion tell me why so much discord has assailed it. And he to me, they, after long contention, will come to bloodshed, and the rustic party will drive the other out with much offence. Then afterwards behoves it this one fall within 3 suns, and rise again the other, by force of him who now is on the coast. High will it hold its forehead a long while, keeping the other under heavy burdens, howe'er it weeps thereat, and is indignant. The just are two, and are not understood there. Envy and arrogance and avarice are the three sparks.
Oh yeah, I'm
that
always
all
ready for
hearts
winter.
have kindled.
It goes from
Here
being
and
100-degree
his
weather to
tearful
being about
utterance, and I to him,
between 50
I
to
wish thee
60.
still to teach me, and make a gift to me of further speech.
So it doesn't get too cold here, but
once so worthy,
definitely beats 100-degree weather.
Arrigo and Mosca, and others who on good deeds set their thoughts. Say where they are and cause that I may know them.
Excuse me.
For great desire constraineth me to learn, if heaven doth sweeten them, or hell in venom. And he, they are among the blacker souls, a different sin downweighs them to the bottom. If thou so far descendest, thou canst see them. But when thou art again in the sweet world, I pray thee to the mind of others bring me. No more I tell thee, and no more I answer. Then his straightforward eyes he turned askance, eyed me a little, and then bowed his head. He fell therewith prone like the other, blind.
Oh shit, doesn't get too cold there either,
He
huh?
wakes no more. This side, the sound of the angelic trumpet, one shall approach the hostile potentate. Each one shall find again his dismal tomb, shall reassume his flesh and his own figure, shall hear what through eternity re-echoes. So we passed onward, o'er the filthy mixture of shadows and of rain with footsteps slow, touching a little on the future life. Wherefore I said, Master, these torments here, will they increase after the mighty sentence, or lesser be, or will they be as burning? And he to me, return unto thy science, which wills that as the thing more perfect is, the more it feels of pleasure and of pain. Albeit that this people maledict to true perfection never can attain, thereafter more than now
New Mexico.
Round in a circle by that road we went, speaking much more, which I do not repeat. We came unto the point where the descent is. There we found Plutus, the great enemy. Inferno, Canto 7. Pape Satan, Alepe. Thus Plutus with his clucking voice began, and that benignant sage who all things knew, said, to encourage me, let not thy fear harm thee, for any power that he may have shall not prevent thy going down this crag. Then he turned round unto that bloated lip, and said, Be silent, thou accursed wolf, consume within thyself with thine own rage. Not causeless is his journey to the abyss. Thus it is willed on high.
Hell yeah.
Michael wrought vengeance upon the proud
I have to do that, Ozark.
Even as the sails inflated by the wind, involved together, fall when snaps the mast, so fell the cruel monster to the earth. Thus we descended into the fourth chasm,
Could I have
still farther on the
another
vast
vest
shore, which all the woe
besides the one that I showed
Justice
that I was
God,
doing?
Who
I'm still working
so
on that
many
because I still got to put a couple things on that.
And why
Then I
doth
have
our
another
transgression
vest
waste
that
us so?
was given to me. Pretty much all my vests, but a couple of them I actually bought.
On that which it encounters. So
And
here the folk must dance
a lot of the other
around
vests I have
Here
were given
saw
to
I
me.
people, more than elsewhere.
But there's another
Many
one that I
on
have. It's
one
a real
side
nice
and the
one.
other, with great howls,
But that one,
rolling
I think
weights
I have
forward by
one
main
patch on.
force of chest.
But that one's
They
going to be
clashed together, and then at that point, each one turned
a pain in the
backward,
ass stitching
rolling
on,
retrograde, crying,
because
Why
that was
keepest,
actually
and
a
why
nice leather
slanderest
one.
thou? Thus they returned along the lurid circle.
And I remember just putting that one
their
patch
shameful
on it
meter
because
evermore.
it's just like one
Then
that's
each,
like
when he
in the
arrived
top
there,
breast
wheeled
area.
about, threw
It
his half circle
says,
to another joust. And I, who
I
had
think it says
my
warning,
heart
don't play
pierced as it were,
don't play well with
exclaimed,
others or something like
My
that.
master now declared to me what
I can't
people
remember
these
exactly
are,
what it is,
and
but
if all were clerks,
just on that
these
patch
shaven
alone, I
crowns
broke,
upon the left of us.
I think it was like 3
And he
sewing
to me,
needles.
all of them
Because I
were
used
squint in intellect in the first life, So
I use the
much
curve. I
that
use the
therewith
curve like
measure they no
about the
splendidly.
medium to large size curve
Clearly
needles.
enough
That
their
way,
voices bark
I
it
can actually
forth.
hook it under and it comes
Whene'er they
through,
reach the 2 points of the
almost like
circle,
you're stitching
where
someone up
sunders
type
them
deal.
the opposite defect.
And on
Clerks
that one,
those were who no hairy
yeah, I
covering
had to
have
use my
on the
needle
head,
nose in that, and
and popes
yeah, I
and
ended up breaking
cardinals in whom
several
doth
needles on that.
avarice practice its excess. And I, my master, among such
Yeah,
as
that
these,
vest that I
oft
showed everyone
forsoothly
with the
recognize
hoodie
some
that
few who were
I did the
infected
patches
with these
on,
maladies.
that one I might be
And
putting
thee
up
to me, vain thought thou entertainest, the
for
undiscerning life
auction
which
type
made them
deal for
sore.
my GoFundMe.
Thou
That
madest
way,
them unto
to
all
try to get more
discernment
donations,
dim.
because I got
However
the
should
eye
they come to
doctor
these 2
appointment done
buddings,
already. I just gotta
these from the
get the
sepulchre shall
glasses done.
rise again with the fist closed, and these with tresses shorn.
Well, I never thought of
Any
using a
doing
punch. I
and
might have to look
keeping
into
the
trying to
fair
get
world
one.
have taken from
I know they
them,
make like little
and
leather
placed them
ones
in
that you
this
could
scuffle, whate'er
just
it
like a
be.
little wheel and
No
all kinds of
words
spikes
adorn
that you
I
could
for it.
run along the area. That
Now
way you could
canst thou,
stitch it better.
son, behold the transient farce of goods that are committed unto fortune, for which the human race
Yeah, but
each
that one
other
I showed
buffet.
everyone that
For
I
all the gold that is
put all those
beneath the
patches
moons,
on
or
and
ever has
whatnot.
been of these weary souls,
That one I
could
might be
never
putting
make
up,
a
like I
single
said, for like an
loaf
auction type deal for my to try to get that done.
Master, I said to him, now tell me also,
Oh,
what is this fortune which thou speakest
I'm still
of,
short
that
a
has
lot
the
because I
world's
barely
goods
got.
so
It
within
was
its
300
clutches?
for
And he to me,
just the eye
O
exam. I
creatures
got
in
that
this,
done, but
what ignorance is
the
this
last
which
time
doth beset
when I
you?
got my
Now
glasses,
will I have thee learn my
just the
judgment of
lenses
her.
themselves were over
He whose
300.
omniscience everything transcends, the heavens created, and gave who should guide them, that every part to every
Because
part may
yeah,
shine, distributing the light in equal measure.
because my lenses
He, in
tend to
like
be
manner
expensive
to
because
the
I'm blind as
mundane
shit.
splendors, ordained a general ministress and guide, that she might change at times the empty treasures from race to race, from one blood to another, beyond resistance of all human wisdom. Therefore one people triumphs, and another languishes, in pursuance of her judgment, which hidden is, as in the grass, a serpent. Your knowledge has no counterstand against her. She makes provision,
Give me one
judges, and
second,
pursues her
everyone.
governments, as theirs the other gods. Her permutations have not any truce. Necessity makes her precipitate. So often cometh who his turn obtains. And this is she who is so crucified, even by those who ought to give her praise, giving her blame amiss and bad repute. But she is blissful, and she hears it not, among the other primal creatures gladsome. She turns her sphere, and blissful she rejoices. Let us descend now unto greater woe. Already sinks each star that was ascending when I set out, and loitering is forbidden. We crossed the circle to the other bank.
Alright, that's what I was
near to
gonna
the fount that
do for my
boils,
vest,
that pours
because
itself along
I'm
the
not sure
gully
how
that
much I'll
runs
put
out
that
of
up
it.
for auction though,
The water
at least
was
for
more
starting,
somber far than purse,
because
and we, in company with the dusky waves,
yeah, that's
made entrance downward by a path uncouth.
that's a lot of time
The
and
marsh it makes, which has the name of Styx. This
and,
tristful
I guess
brooklet,
money you
when
can save
it has
into
descended
that
down
just
to
for
the
the
foot of the
cost of the
malign
patches
grey
I got
shores,
and
I, who stood intent upon beholding,
how long it
saw
takes to
people
do it.
mud besprent in that lagoon, all of them naked and with
Oh
angry
shit,
look.
hell yeah,
They
that'd be
smote each other
badass too.
not
I was
alone
already,
with hands, but with the head and
but I
with
was
the
already thinking of
breast
doing
and
that with
feet,
that vest I was
tearing
working
each
on,
other piecemeal with their teeth.
just to help it out a little bit.
Said the good master, Son, thou now
I know
beholdest the
those
souls
go
of
for a
those
little
whom
bit once
anger
they're
overcame.
complete.
And likewise I would have thee know for certain, beneath the water people are who sigh, and make this water bubble at the surface, as the eye tells thee wheresoe'er it turns. Fixed in the mire, they say, we sullen were in the sweet air, which by the sun is gladdened, and within ourselves the sluggish reek, now we are sullen in this sable mire. This hymn do they keep gurgling in their throats, for with unbroken words they cannot say it. Thus we went circling round the filthy fen, a great arc twixt the dry bank and the swamp, with eyes turned unto those who gorged the mire. Unto the foot of a tower we came at last. Inferno, Canto 8. I say, continuing, that long before we to the foot of that high tower had come, our eyes went upward to the summit of it, by reason of 2 flamelets we saw placed there, and from afar another answer them, so far that hardly could the eye attain it. And to the sea of all discernment turned, I said, What saith this, and what respondeth that other fire? And who are they that made it? And he to me, across the turbid waves, what is expected thou canst now discern, if reek of the morass conceal it not. Cord never shot an arrow from itself, that sped away athwart the air so swift, as I beheld a very little boat come o'er the water towards us at that moment, under the guidance of a single pilot, who shouted, Now art thou arrived, fell soul! Phlegyas, Phlegyas, thou criest out in vain. For this once, said my lord, thou shalt not have us longer than in the passing of the slough. As he who listens to some great deceit that has been done to him and then resents it, such became Phlegyas in his gathered wrath. My guide descended down into the boat, and then he made me enter after him, and only when I entered seemed it laden. Soon as the guide and I were in the boat, the antique prow goes on its way, dividing more of the water than 'tis wont with others. While we were running through the dead canal, up rose in front of me one full of mire, and said, Who art thou that comest here the hour? And I to him, Although I come, I stay not. But who art thou that hast become so squalid? Thou seest that I am one who weeps, he answered. And I to him, With weeping and with wailing, thou spirit maledict, do thou remain, for thee I know, though thou art all defiled. Then stretched he both his hands unto the boat, whereat my wary master thrust him back, saying, Away there with the other dogs. Thereafter with his arms he clasped my neck. He kissed my face, and said, Disdainful soul, blessed be she who bore thee in her bosom. That was an arrogant person in the world. Goodness is none that decks his memory. So likewise here his shade is furious.
Hey, Phil House, how you doing, bro? Thanks for stopping by.
Who here shall be like unto swine in mire,
Hell yeah,
even
Ozark.
behind them horrible dispraises. And I, my master, much should I be pleased if I could see him soused into this broth,
That's low the bowl
before
now.
we issue forth out of the lake.
Yeah,
And
my
he
bad,
to
my
me,
zone out is just,
Ere unto thee the shore
I have
reveal
my-
itself, thou shalt be satisfied.
I have a book going
Such
too
desire 'tis
that I'm
meet
just out.
thou
Sometimes I'll
shouldst
just zone
enjoy.
out and start listening to that.
A little after that I saw such havoc made of him by the people of the mire that still I praise and thank my God for it. They all were shouting, At Filippo, Argenti!
It's something I could play on my
And that
live and not get
exasperate spirit
copyrighted,
Florentine
'cause
turned round upon himself
all the
with
books
his
that I'm
own
listening
teeth.
to
We left
fall
him there,
under
and
public
more of him
domain,
I tell not. But on mine ears there smote a lamentation,
so I can't get in
whence
trouble
forward
for
I
it.
intent unbar mine eyes. And the good master said, Even now, my son, the city draweth near, whose name is Dis, with the grave citizens,
Damn,
with the great
That
throng.
sucks, Phil House.
And I, its mosques already, master, clearly
That's
within
that's
there
pretty much how I am on
discern vermilion,
a regular
as if issuing
basis.
from the
It
fire they were.
hurts to
And he
move.
to me, the fire eternal that kindles them within makes them look
If I
red,
stand up
as
too
thou
long in one
beholdest
place,
in this nether hell.
I'm
Then
in
we
pain
arrived
for,
within the moats profound,
or even
that
more pain, should I
circumvallate
say,
that
for
disconsolate
like
city.
a good portion of the day.
Walls appeared to me to be of iron. Not without making first a circuit wide, we came unto a place where loud the pilot cried out to us, Debark, here is the entrance. More than 1,000 at the gates I saw, out of the heavens rained down, who angrily were saying, Who is this that without death goes through the kingdom of the people dead? And my sagacious master made a sign of wishing secretly to speak with them. A little then they quelled their great disdain, and said, Come thou alone, and he be gone who has so boldly entered these dominions. Let him return alone by his mad road. Try if he can, for thou shalt here remain, who hast escorted him through such dark regions. Think, reader, if I was discomforted at utterance of the accursed words, for never to return, here I believed. Oh, my dear guide, who more than 7 times hast rendered me security, and drawn me from imminent peril that before me stood, do
I
not
hope you
desert
start
me,
feeling better,
said
don't feel
I.
house.
Thus undone, and if the going farther be denied us, let us retrace our steps together swiftly. And that Lord who had led me thitherward said unto me, Fear not, because our passage none can take from us. It by such is given. But here await me in thy weary spirit comfort and nourish with a better hope, for in this nether world I will not leave thee. So onward goes, and there abandons me, my Father sweet, and I remain in doubt, for no and yes within my head contend. I could not hear what he proposed to them, but with them there he did not linger long, ere each within in rivalry ran back. They closed the portals, those our adversaries on my lord's breast, who had remained without, and turned to me with footsteps far between. His eyes cast down, his forehead shorn had he of all its boldness, and he said with sighs, Who has denied to me the dolesome houses? And unto me, Thou, because I am angry, fear not.
Nothing right now.
Whatever for defense within be planned.
I was gonna work on my vest this weekend. My other vest.
Used it at less secret
but
gate,
I'm house sitting right now at my mom and aunt's.
Or it didst thou behold the dead inscription.
Got a house sit.
And now this side of it descends the
slash dog sit and
across the circle
I guess slash
one by
chicken sit.
The city shall
I gotta
be
feed
opened.
chickens later.
Inferno.
And collect chicken eggs, that's about it.
That hue which cowardice brought out on me, beholding my conductor backward turn, sooner repressed within him his new color. He stopped attentive like a man who listens.
Might get on the game, one of my games later, because I did bring my PlayStation
fog.
with me.
Still, it behoveth us to win the fight, began he. Else, such
One
offered
second.
us herself. Oh, how I long that someone here arrive. Well, I perceived, as soon as the beginning he covered up with what came afterward, that they were words quite different from the first. But none the less his saying gave me fear, because I carried out the broken phrase, perhaps to a worse meaning than he had. Into this bottom of the doleful conch, doth any air descend from the first grade, which for its pain has only hope cut off? This question put I, and he answered me, Seldom it comes to pass that one of us maketh the journey upon which I go. True it is, once before I here below was conjured by that pitiless Erichtho, who summoned back the shades unto their bodies. Naked of me short while the flesh had been, before within that wall she made me enter, to bring a spirit from the circle of Judas. That is the lowest region, and the darkest, and farthest from the heaven which circles all. Well know I the way, therefore be reassured. This fen, which a prodigious stench exhales, encompasses about the city dolent, where now we cannot enter without anger. And more he said, but not in mind I have it, because mine eye had altogether drawn me towards the north arrow with the red flaming summit.
Chiropractor,
where
huh?
in a moment saw I swift uprisen.
I've never been to a chiropractor.
Furies, stained with blood,
I'm a little scared too.
who had the limbs
that
of
might hurt a lot.
their mien, and with the greenest hydras were begirt. Small serpents and cerastus were their tresses, wherewith their horrid temples were entwined. And he who well the handmaids of the queen of everlasting lamentation knew, said unto me, Behold the fierce Erinys. This is Megara on the left-hand side, she who is weeping on the right, Alecto. Tisiphone is between. And then was silent. Each one her breast was rending with her nails, that beat them with their palms, and cried so loud, that I for dread pressed close unto the poet. Medusa come,
Oh
so
shit, that's what it's not too, huh?
all shouted, looking down. In evil hour avenge we not on Theseus' assault. Turn thyself round, and keep thine eyes close shut, for if the Gorgon appear, and thou shouldst see it, no more returning upward would there be. Thus said the master, and he turned me round himself, and trusted not unto my hands so far as not to blind me with his own. O ye who have undistempered intellects, observe the doctrine that conceals itself beneath the veil of the mysterious verse. And now there came across the turbid waves the clangor of a sound with terror fraught, because of which both of the margins trembled. Not otherwise it was than of a wind, impetuous on account of adverse heats, that smites the forest, and, without restraint, the branches rends, beats down, and bears away. Right onward, laden with dust, it goes, superb, and puts to flight the wild beasts and the shepherds. Mine eyes he loosed, and said, Direct the nerve of vision now along that ancient foam, there yonder where that smoke is most intense. Even as the frogs before the hostile serpent across the water scatter all abroad, until each one is huddled in the earth. More than 1,000 ruined souls I saw, thus fleeing from before one who on foot was passing o'er the Styx with souls unwet. Far off his face he fanned that unctuous air, waving his left hand oft in front of him, and only with that anguish seemed he weary. Well I perceived one sent from heaven was he, and to the master turned, and he made sign that I should quiet stand and bow before him. Ah, how disdainful he appeared to me! He reached the gate, and with a little nod he opened it, for there was no resistance. O banished out of heaven, people despised! Thus he began upon the horrid threshold. Whence is this arrogance within you couched? Wherefore recalcitrate against that will from which the end can never be cut off, and which has many times increased your pain? What helpeth it to butt against your fates? Your Cerberus, if you remember well,
How's everyone's weekend been so far?
Peeled. Then he returned along the miry road, and spake no word to us, but had the look of one whom other care constrains and goads, than that of him who in his presence is. And we our feet directed towards the city, after those holy words, all confident. Within we entered without any contest, and I, whose inclination had to see what the condition such a fortress holds, soon as I was within, cast round mine eye, and see on every hand an ample plain, full of distress and torment terrible. Even as at Arles, where stagnates the Rhone, even as at Pola, near to the Quarnaro, that shuts in Italy and bathes its borders. The sepulchres made all the place uneven. So likewise did they there on every side, saying that there the manner was more bitter. For flames between the sepulchres were scattered, by which they so intensely heated were, that iron more so asks not any art. All of their coverings uplifted were, and from them issued forth such dire laments, soothed seemed they of the wretched and tormented. And I, my master, what are all those people who, having sepulture within those tombs, make themselves audible by doleful sighs? And he to me, Here are the heresiarchs, with their disciples of all sects, and much more than thou thinkest, laden are the tombs. Here, like together with its like, is buried, and more and less the monuments are heated. And when he to the right had turned, we passed between the torments and high parapets. Inferno, Canto 10. Now onward goes along a narrow path between the torments and the city wall, my master, and I follow at his back. O power supreme, that through these impious circles turnest me, I began, as pleases thee speak to me, and my longing satisfy. The people who are lying in these tombs, might they be seen? Already are uplifted the covers all, and no one keepeth guard.
1 second, everyone.
And he to me, they all will be closed up when, from Jehoshaphat, They shall return here with the bodies they have left above. Their cemetery have upon this side with Epicurus all his followers, who with the body mortal make the soul. But in the question thou dost put to me, within here shalt thou soon be satisfied, and likewise in the wish thou keepest silent. And I, good leader, I but keep concealed from thee my heart, that I may speak the less, nor only now hast thou thereto disposed me. O Tuscan, thou who through the city of fire goest alive, thou speaking modestly, be pleased to stay thy footsteps in this place.
Hey,
Thy mode of
Anthony.
speaking makest thee manifest, a native of that noble fatherland, to which perhaps I too molestful was. Upon a sudden issued forth this sound, from out of one of the tombs, wherefore I pressed, fearing, a little nearer to my leader.
Hey, cool colors,
And
how
unto
you
me he
doing?
said, Turn thee, what dost thou? Behold there, fair Anata, who has risen from the waist upwards, wholly shalt thou see him. I had already fixed mine eyes on his, and he uprose, erect with breast and front,
Hope everyone's
even
doing
as if
good
hell
today.
he had in great despite. And with courageous hands and prompt, my leader thrust me between the sepulchres towards him, exclaiming, Let thy words explicit be. As soon as I was at the foot of the tomb, somewhat he eyed me, and, as if disdainful, then asked of me, Who were thine ancestors? I, who desirous of obeying was, concealed it not, but all revealed to him, whereat he raised his brows a little upward. Then he said, Fiercely adverse have they been to me and to my fathers in my party, so that
Oh,
several
I'm not
times
doing
I
too
scattered
bad,
them.
cool colors.
If they were banished,
Just
they returned
chilling.
on all sides, I answered him, the first time and the second, but yours have not acquired that art aright. Then
Pretty
there
much
uprose
chilling,
upon the sight,
smoking,
uncovered, down
listening
to the
to a
chin,
book,
shadow at his side.
talking with you guys.
I think that he had risen on his knees. Round me he gazed, as if solicitude he had to see if some one else were with me. But after his suspicion was all spent, weeping, he said to me, If through this blind prison thou goest by loftiness of genius, where is my son, and why is he not with thee? And I to him, I come not of myself. He who is waiting yonder leads me here, whom in disdain perhaps your Guido had. His language and the mode of punishment already unto me had read his name. On that account my answer was so full. Up starting suddenly he cried out, How saidst thou? He had. Is he not still alive? Does not the sweet light strike upon his eyes? When he became aware of some delay, which I before my answer made, supine he fell again, and forth appeared no more. But the other, magnanimous, at whose desire I had remained, did not his aspect change, neither his neck he moved, nor bent his side. And if, continuing his first discourse, they have that art, he said, not learned aright, that more tormenteth me than doth this bed. But 50 times shall not rekindled be the countenance of the lady who reigns here, ere thou shalt know how heavy is that art. And as thou wouldst to this sweet world return, say why that people is so pitiless against my race in each one of its laws. Whence I to him, the slaughter and great carnage which have with crimson stained the Arbia, caused such orisons in our temple to be made. After his head he with a sigh had shaken, There I was not alone, he said, nor surely without a cause had with the others moved, but there I was alone, where every one consented to the laying waste of Florence, he who defended her with open face. Ah, so hereafter may your seed repose, I him entreated. Solve for me that knot which has tangled my conceptions here. It seems that you can see, if I hear rightly, beforehand whatsoever time brings with it, and in the present have another mode. We see, like those who have imperfect sight, the things, he said, that distant are from us, so much still shines on us the sovereign ruler. When they draw near, or are, is wholly vain our intellect, and if none brings it to us, not anything know we of your human state. Hence thou canst understand that wholly dead will be our knowledge from the moment when the portal of the future shall be closed. Then I, as if compunctious for my fault, said, Now then you will tell that fallen one that still his son is with the living joined. And if just now in answering I was dumb, tell him I did it because I was thinking already of the error you have solved me. And now my master was
Alright,
recalling
everyone,
me,
probably gonna
wherefore
call
more
into this
eagerly I
live
prayed the
right now.
Spirit that he
I
would
might
tell
get
me
on
who
later,
was
either
with him
a
there.
gaming live or
He said,
another live like
With
this.
more than 1,000 here I
But
lie.
until,
Within
thanks
here
everyone
is the
for
second
stopping
fronter
by and
and the
everyone who
cardinal,
keeps
and of the rest
coming
I
back
speak
and showing
not.
me love and
Thereon
support.
he hid himself, and I
Until
towards
next
the
time,
ancient
everyone.
poet turned my
Bubble
steps,
Scum out.
reflecting upon that saying,